Hi! On the Woodpecker this time, I'll show you how I mix my own concrete. Since I passed the last 2.5 weeks at my cottage, I couldn't complete my last project. So I decided to make another episode at my cottage. I could have done a boring video about changing a flat tire, checking magazines, fishing, looking at wildlife, watching my remote control boat, canoeing, or learning how to make a rag rug with a crochet. But instead, I decided to show you how I mix my concrete. I know a real woodpecker does some woodworking, but you know, you have to widen your horizon and get out of your comfort zone. That's why I'm showing you these concrete projects. And this time, it's 2 for the price of 1. To start the first one, I must dig a hole under my cottage, because I want to add a post underneath the rock wall close to my wood stove. But before I start to mix the concrete, I need the 4 main ingredients. First, sand. Second, rocks. When all the bags are near the mixer, I can get the 3rd ingredient, which is water. Finally, the last ingredient, the cement. I always buy Portland cement, which I put inside a garbage bag in a bird seed bag during transportation. I always use the same recipe: 1, 2, 3. 1 cement, 2 sand, 3 rocks, and some water. But before I start, let me tell you about my old mixer. Presently, it's working with an old lawnmower motor. I advise anyone with a remote cottage like mine to build one like this. You only need an old lawnmower motor, a welded metal base, and the interior of an old angle grinder. With this, you are ready for anything when you need a motor. When I start my mixture, I always start with the water first and I measure it. If I want all my batches to be identical, I need to have the same amount of water each time. Then I add the rocks. Look how I use my knee to help me throw the bucket inside the mixer. It's quite a technique. Then the cement goes in. I wait until everything is well mixed and I add the sand in 2 passes. When it's ready, it should be a little thicker than this. I had to adjust the quantity of water. Then I just need to pour it in a wheelbarrow. For my first project, I just need to put the concrete inside the hole I dug yesterday. My second project is that I want to add a boardwalk around my cottage, just like my patio. Here, I decide to use my generator to power the mixer, because it's less noisy. For this project, my mixture is the same, except I don't use rocks. I pour concrete in the mold and I spread it with the trowel. Each hole is filled up with concrete and smoothed. Then I remove the mold and I move it to the next boardwalk spot. And I do this over and over. When I use this mold, I always make extra batches on the plywood covered with a plastic tarp. This way I have some spare stones for the places where I can't put the mold evenly on the ground. Like this spot at the right of the boardwalk. The mold is too big at some places. When it's all done, I need to clean the tools. I start with the mixer. I scrub it with a metal brush. The rest I clean in the lake. It's easier that way. When all the stones are laid down, I fill the gaps in between with sand. Here's the start of my boardwalk around my cottage. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for a real episode of the Woodpecker.